Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the next best ever edition of Cast Iron Bites. And I am so excited to welcome Lindsay Deibler, the Ginger Gingerbread Lady, the
Yeah.
gingergingerbreadlady.com, to the show. Lindsay,
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Thank you for being here. So I love this. I love Cast Iron Bites because it gives me the opportunity to talk to really talented and interesting people. And when I came across your world, because I
Yeah.
thought I really knew about cookies and I really knew about sugar artistry and all of this. And then when I came across your world, it was like a blast from the past and also a whole new world that opened up for me. And so
Yes.
you're the gingergingerbreadlady.com. Tell us what you do and who you are.
So I love to create gingerbread pieces that when I say gingerbread, people automatically think gumdrops and royal icing globbed all over. And they're always like, oh, you're a gingerbread artist. I'm like, no, let me show you what I make. And so then I show them and they're like, that's not gingerbread. And I'm like, well, I have lots of videos to show you how it is made with gingerbread. So I love to blow their minds of what they think is gingerbread, and hopefully our gingerbread world will spread so that that's not just the first vision people have. But I love creating new, unique, whimsical pieces out of gingerbread for everybody to enjoy and look forward to every year.
That's amazing. And how did you get started in making
So,
gingerbread? And while you do this, I'm going to try something I haven't done before. I'm going to try to
okay,
share my screen and show some of your work.
okay,
Yeah.
I won't pay attention to that. So,
Yeah. So tell us
uh,
about how you got started.
okay, so how I started is I live in North Carolina. So the National Gingerbread Competition is held in North Carolina in Asheville every year. This year, I believe, was the 31st anniversary. So I started out channeling creative energy into making gingerbread after of making cakes, kind of teaching myself how to make cakes look like things. And so everybody kept saying, oh, you need to enter the National Gingerbread Competition. And I was like, I know nothing about gingerbread. And so there was a local fundraiser where you could make some gingerbread houses. And so I was like, all right, I'll dabble in that. So I made two and they were fine. And I realized that it's very difficult. And I was like, I'm not doing the National Gingerbread Competition. And then probably a couple years passed, whatever, and people kept saying it. I was like, fine, I'm going to enter. So I entered without really going, seeing what it was. I made chewy, gummy gingerbread with fondant and royal icing. And my neighbor had convinced me that it was really awesome and
Hmm.
that I was going to win.
Okay.
And I was like,
Good
okay,
neighbor to have.
yeah. So I went blindly and I showed up at the competition, and camera crews came flying out of the building to film the car next to me. And I paused for a moment to see what was in their car. When they opened the trunk of the car, I thought angels were flying out and things. You should have seen the gingerbread. And I told my son I was not getting out because it was so amazing and my piece did not compare. And I knew quickly at that point, mine really was not that spectacular, but I went in, I saw what everybody made and was blown away. And being a competitive person,
Uh,
I was like, I'm going to figure this out. I loved it enough and was blown away by the magic of it that I met a couple gingerbread people that now we call ourselves Ginger Friends, and it's a big group of us out there. I say big, but big probably for gingerbread. And so we share different recipes and techniques on how to do things and shape things into the way that we make them now. So I definitely started out zero, and now
yeah.
I feel like I'm at the top.
Well, I
Uh,
think I've shared some of the pictures,
yes,
but anyone can see them at the at
yes,
gingergingerbreadlady.com.
yes,
And I mean, first of all, they don't look anything like the gingerbread houses that I made in
right,
nursery school.
right.
So, like, how is that possible? Like, how do you
Well,
do it?
I don't know. Well, I know that using chewy gingerbread usually it doesn't work great for me. Now,
Okay.
I do know some gingerbread artists that do use it, but they use it on a lot of flat pieces and things that they bake and bake and bake and bake. To me, I use construction gingerbread, which you can eat it. It is edible. It might break your tooth off if you really do bite into it. But it's easy to shape. It's easier to bake. Things aren't rising because it
Mm.
doesn't have baking powder, baking soda in it. And so it's staying a little bit more compact. So you can smush it and shape it. So I like to say I make gingerbread turds, which is
Okay.
funny.
All right.
Uh, like a block of it, and I'll just
Yeah.
bake them and then I'll bring it out. And so then I can attach gingerbread pastillage on the outside that air dries. I can attach modeling chocolate onto the outside of it, and
Amazing.
it can make a polar bear out
Yeah.
of a block of
Were,
gingerbread.
were because you're clearly creative.
Yes.
Were you creative beforehand? And was this a drive to be creative? Was it a drive to have a business? Was it a drive? What's underneath that for you?
It definitely started on the creative side. That I was an interior design major, or
Oh,
have an interior design business. So yes, so I actually built foam core houses for interior design. And I didn't really realize that it
and you were
correlated
hungry.
with it. I had no idea. Like I didn't even coordinate, like plan that. And so I've always taken lots of art classes as a child and sculpting classes. And I still remember my elementary school art teacher's name, Mr. Hopsenberger. He did sculpture. And so we did a lot of animal sculptures and things. And I don't know if that's why today I love doing sculptured animals a lot. I don't know if it started there or what. But I've definitely probably taken every art class on the planet all through elementary, high school, college. And being an interior design major, I knew that I could still draw my way through college some of the
Mm-hmm.
way. So I love to come up with unique ideas and different ideas to do in gingerbread and just to see if I can do it. And then now it's kind of moved into a business
Yeah.
that
Tell me
people,
about that.
yeah, and so that just kind of organically happened. I did not set out building the first one thinking, oh, I'm going to be awesome and build things. It just sort of people started coming to me and saying, can you do a replica of a hotel? And I was like, sure, I can do that. And I made a piece for a jewelry store that
Yeah, tell
had,
us about that one because that one is
oh, yeah.
pretty special.
Well, that one came about because I entered their first ever gingerbread competition. It was for Bailey's Fine Jewelry
Okay.
in Cary or Raleigh, North Carolina, and I won their competition. So the following year, they wanted to do a show-stopping piece that they could have on display. And so this piece had $1.2 million worth of jewelry on it. They actually were going to mail me the jewelry to work on it. And I said, no, I do not need this in my house. So I
Mm-mm.
actually pre-built everything ahead of time. And it was all in parts because I didn't know what jewelry I was getting besides that Rolex watch face. I knew that was going there. So I built it specifically to that scale. But all the other jewelry, I had no idea what we were using. So I had to build things that I thought we could place jewelry. Like in the bottom left corner there, you can see there's a ring on that. So
Yes.
that's isomalt structure. So it's like a sucker material.
Yeah.
Um,
Amazing.
yeah, so I planned
Amazing.
it out. And then from there, I've just been asked to do different businesses, and I'm definitely going to be trying to ramp that up next year for different places because what I've learned is some of the pastry chefs for say hotels and things, they don't know how to do this. They
Mm-hmm.
aren't trained on how to do this. They could figure it out, but they're trying to run their pastries and all that through the season. So I would love to do more hotels, but not necessarily replicas. They
Yeah.
don't have to be replicas. Um, One hotel that I've done, they said that when their piece dies next year, or the or the year after, I want to do a replica of their bar because they
Mm.
have a beautiful bar. And I'm like, no, but nobody would have that.
What
So
does it
I
mean
just
for what does it mean for a piece to die?
when it falls apart and you really can't use it anymore.
And so
I mean,
it decays because it's
yeah, it
food.
just will pop off and things. Some of them you can preserve with polyurethane, but I always tell clients don't bank on it lasting forever, but you might get 1, 2, 3 years out of a piece because I don't use a lot of royal icing that flakes off.
Hmm.
I use gummy bear glue. Gummy bear glue is spectacular as long as the gummy bear has pectin and gelatin, because not every gummy bear has both.
Mm.
So that's the key.
So
Um,
when we spoke to prepare for this, Lindsay, we
yeah.
talked about the competition and we talked about like
Oh,
what how difficult that is and some of the challenges. And I thought there were some really interesting lessons in there. So what's this competition circuit like and what does it mean to be competing and what do you have to do?
um, well, it's at the Omni Grove Park in the National Gingerbread Competition, which I always say is probably the worst location on the planet, considering if you've been there, the cobblestone entry as you get in,
Uh,
all the cobblestone as you take it in. So it's lumpy, bumpy, and you better have your stuff secured because if it's not, we see a lot of pieces in the trash by the time they enter
oh,
into the building. So you're sort of tested that first 5 minutes before you even enter into the building. Definitely it's not for the faint of heart because people spend months doing this and creating for the love of creating because you are not guaranteed to win anything. The only people that win money are top three. And it's not always about that for us. We like to see all our friends. It's the time of the year. It's always held the weekend before Thanksgiving. So it gets you in the holiday spirit, even way before probably everybody else. But we've been living in gingerbread Christmas land for months already.
oh.
So we are all in by the time the competition comes. So,
And thank you. So the viewers of this are creative geniuses like you who with a passion for providing moments of joy with their cookies, their cakes, their breads, their meals, their
yes.
um and I'm searching for something around
Yeah.
the speed bumps and cobblestone paths because it
Right.
feels like in the journey of building your business, the journey of building a house, your life, there's always these bumpy roads and things
Right.
that go in there. I love that metaphor, and to
Yeah.
do it with something sweet and so artistic is pretty special.
Yeah. I think anybody that does this is not doing it for glory. We truly love sharing it with people. That's
Yeah.
my favorite thing is when people go and find one of my pieces and take a picture next to it and say, I found it. Oh my gosh. I love it because that's the point of art, I feel like, is just sharing whatever you have in your head out there with everybody. So,
That's beautifully said. What's your biggest wish for your gingerbread journey personally?
well, always I do feel like to possibly win number one at nationals. That
Okay.
would be awesome. But you're judging art.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's very difficult. You don't know what they're necessarily looking for that year and stuff. So that's sort of like the holy grail within the gingerbread land. But to me, I want to build fun projects for people. I have a commission coming up for next year that I'm going to do the Tree of Life
Mm.
at Disney.
Mm.
Um, and so just fun,
That's,
unique things
that's
that aren't
amazing.
the typical gingerbread house. So I really truly am probably chasing making a new cool project all the time.
Yeah.
I like researching it. How am I going to do it? Thinking of what the inners are going to be, what things are going to be made of. It doesn't have to always be gingerbread on the outside.
Do
So
you, again, this is my own
yeah.
neuroses trying to find metaphors and connections, but like when you're not working on the figuring out the inners and the outers and all that stuff of your houses that you're making, do you see the world in
Oh yes.
gingerbread?
Oh yes, it's a problem. It really is a problem. If we are driving to anywhere and you see a spectacular architectural building
Yeah.
or a sculpture or anything, I cannot look at a magazine, drive down a street without thinking things. I mean, even light fixtures, I'm like, oh, that would be cool, this or that. And I don't want to copy things. I'm not really loving always copying. If it is something, there has to be still a twist on to it. Like I built the Tower of Terror piece. I don't know if you've seen it, but in the front, like the luggage cart in the front, the floor in the front. I mean, it's not 100% replica of what it is. It's somewhere on my Instagram, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, like especially at Christmas, my brain is on like overload because you see all these different things, little ornaments.
Yep.
You're like, how can I do that?
Oh, right. How can I do that? All right.
Yeah,
Well, this leads to the third question I'm going to
yeah.
ask you in a rapid fire three
Oh
question
God.
part here.
Okay.
I know. Buckle up. No bad words allowed. Well,
Okay.
that's okay. You said turd already. Um,
Well, it's not. That's a good word.
okay. Yeah, it's not bad. Trust me.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I'm a New Yorker. So, all right. So number one is what's the best meal you've ever had?
Best meal? I don't know. Probably somewhere in Charleston at one of the fancy restaurants because
Okay.
they're all of the Charleston restaurants are spectacular. Probably Hall's Steakhouse, probably.
What are you ordering at Hall Steakhouse?
Steak.
Like what kind of steak?
Filet
Okay.
mignon.
And
Yes,
how do you cook it?
really well done, which they don't like to do,
Yeah.
but I
Okay.
like it dead.
Yeah, no mooing. Okay. Number two, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given and by whom?
By Ann Bailey, who has won the National Gingerbread Competition 4 times, the most of anybody. She told me my second year of entering, she walked by my piece, which I was still learning. And it was decent. And she walked by and she said, that's beautiful, like awesome. And told me to keep practicing my craft. And that is the best advice I've ever gotten in my life. It's not criticizing or critiquing or anything. It's just keep practicing. And
Mm,
so that's what I do. Like all during the year, the lion head that I created on my Instagram is not for anybody. It was not for anybody whatsoever. And that is 100% not baked gingerbread. It's not baked.
well, I'm gonna share it. What does that mean?
It's all air dried. And so
Mm,
I wanted to see that. So the inside of it is a human styrofoam
oh, phew. Right.
because I just wanted to see. So then I layered it on top and sculpted it. And I wanted to see, would it fall apart? And you're not going to know that if you're just waiting for the holiday season to come and compete. I did that, I think, in like May or June because
Mm.
I just wanted to see if it worked. So now I know it does.
The
And
texture
it
is
can dry.
amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's really
Now,
amazing.
I mean, I love it. I love it.
All
So
right. So,
I keep
yep.
practicing all through the year.
Yeah.
Just, I've around Easter time, I took a chocolate bunny and I put gingerbread out on the outside of it. Again, just to see if it
Mhm.
would air
Yeah.
dry. And it does.
And it does. Do you know what you're working on for next year? Like, do you have a plan for the
This is a
competition?
problem of mine too. I
Okay.
have multiple ideas always swirling around. So every year I'll create like a Pinterest and it says the year and gingerbread ideas. I probably have 20 different boards up going all at one time and may not use any of them.
Mm,
But I just love the process of figuring out, okay, well, how could I combine this and this if I wanted it to all be frogs, pretend,
yeah.
I don't know, and put things all together. But I have 2 ideas for
Okay.
next year, and I might build both and
Mm.
just see what I like
And how was
best.
this year? How'd you do this year?
I did not place top 10, but I took a risk.
Okay. That's great.
I added a QR code. So
Ooh.
I added a QR code onto it. It's somewhere on my Instagram you can see, but I added 3 QR codes. You can only see one from the front. And if you scan it, it goes directly to a separate Instagram account called the Snow Queen because the piece was Snow Queen. And at the time during judging, I did not have my name on it because the judges can't know your name. So I did a separate Instagram account. So you scan it and say it does a video of just the Snow Queen. And then I had it animated.
All right, so
You'll
I'm looking. So to see that is it's on your
Yeah.
Instagram, which is
Okay.
Ginger Gingerbread Lady.
Yeah. If you see the one where it looks like animation in the picture, there's a
Mhm.
lady.
We're gonna go there together.
Okay, go down. Right there.
This
See
one.
the brown lady?
This one right here.
No, go up
Oh,
to the
this
right.
one.
Yes,
Okay.
click that.
Oh, there's it. Oh,
See QR code and then watch.
whoa. Gosh, that's so creative.
So I added 3 QR codes, and that one is in the front, and that one just does the Snow Queen. There's one on the side of the dogs or the wolves, so that when you scan that, it's a video of the wolves, and then the wolves come to life. On the other side, it shows the elk coming alive.
Yeah,
And I knew it was a risk, and I'm not sure if the judges appreciated it or not, but I did it anyway because
I
I
love it.
wanted to add a different level to the gingerbread of just looking at it.
This
And
is pretty rebellious in the gingerbread world, I bet, to take it off the
I,
table and into the internet.
yeah, I don't know how they truly felt, but they said that they were writing a rule next year that you cannot do that.
Oh, well, then I think we know. I think we know. Maybe we should start our own world
Yeah,
championship for like real innovation.
I just wanted to do it and I loved it. I knew it was a risk and I'm like totally fine that I did not get top 10 because I did something new and different and nobody's ever done it. And
Yep. Well, I'm a fan, and that's great.
well,
And
and it's popular. QR codes are popular in the 2D art world, and
mhm.
it is there. And there's even better programs than that, and one that I really wanted to do, but I'll save that one for a private person because we'll just add that later.
Awesome. All right, last question. And you may have already answered it, but who inspires you? You said Anne was gave you great
Yeah.
advice. Is there somebody who inspires you as an artist, as a business person, as a human?
Definitely Ann Bailey in the gingerbread land. And I have my gingerbread manager that she's a good friend. She's an artist. And actually, I've converted her into the gingerbread land.
Hmm.
And she's helped me the past 2 years. And so last year was the first year that I had her help do a couple things. And she's like, I only did 2%. And I
Oh,
said, I know, but I'm putting your name on it. It's more fun because I always send her 1,000 pictures while I'm building, and she has different vision too. And we'll be like, that eyeball looks whatever. And
yeah.
she can see it and tell me, okay, I need to do this. And so I appreciate, I don't know if it's inspired, but appreciate that friendship there to then just kindly tell me what I need to fix
You want
or
to
not.
give her a shout out so we know who you're
Oh,
talking about?
Wendy Fire.
Wendy.
So, yes.
Amazing. All right. So, Lindsay, thank you so much for giving us and giving me an a view into a world I didn't know much about. And I feel so much smarter. I'm inspired by
Yeah.
your creativity and your. I love that you were the rebel at the national competition this year. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. I wouldn't want to do it any other way.
So why not? I mean,
Yeah,
why not?
why
That's
not?
life. And why not build crazy things out of gingerbread? You
I'm
know?
gonna I'm gonna leave it there. Lindsay Deibler at gingergingerbreadlady.com. May you have a happy, healthy new year and have it be no cobblestone paths for you along the way.
Yes.
Amazing. Take
Thank
care.